This is the Oppo A54 5G, an entry-level smartphone with a catch. Sure, the nice psychedelic-styled back part looks pretty cool, along with the impressive-looking camera module and the big screen. And let's not forget the physical fingerprint scanner, which completes the look. Now this is all great, but can this phone actually walk the walk? Let's find out. Hey, what's going on, guys and girls? My name is Prashil and welcome back to A.T.E. And today we're going to be reviewing the Oppo A54 5G. Now this is an entry-level smartphone with a catch. Let's get into it. Alright, so the design is pretty standard, apart from the really sick colorway called Fantastic Purple, by the way, that I really am a fan of. When you look past all that, however, the design is quite plain. The back is plastic, with what I'm guessing is also plastic side bezels. The camera module to me looks quite snazzy, however the back attracts fingerprints like nobody's business. Yeah, so with the design, I think Oppo played it quite safe, and honestly, at this price point, I think it works. Alright, so let's get into the specs of the phone. Alright, so you have a Snapdragon 480 5G chip, an Adreno 619 GPU, 4 gigs of RAM, and on this particular model, 64 gigs of storage, which is expandable up to 256 gigabytes. On top of this, you get dual SIM support, as well as the big highlighting feature of this device, 5G connectivity. Now, with the camera system, you get a 48 megapixel main sensor, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 16 megapixel selfie cam. Alright, so performance when it comes to day-to-day tasks when using the A54 5G is, well, at best, underwhelming. And let's see why that is. Now don't get me wrong, I wasn't under any illusions. I mean, you are only getting a Snapdragon 480, and while normal web browsing and video streaming is fine, I feel that playing games or using any CPU-intensive apps like mobile video editing and photo editing might be a bit of a stretch. Now, while current games seem to work fine, I am concerned about the future of this device as newer apps and games will come out which will require more CPU power and GPU power, which I'm just not sure this device could actually keep up with. And to add to this, the loading times are actually quite long, which can be a problem. So while the performance is okay, it ultimately did leave me wanting a little bit more, and especially on a day-to-day basis, using this device, I found that after a couple weeks of use, it did start to stutter and lag, especially when switching between apps and even on startup. So that is something to think about. Alright, let's get onto the screen. For your money, you're getting a 6.5-inch 2400 by 1080 IPS LCD with a 90Hz refresh rate. While 90Hz is nice, it does feel like a compromise when compared to the more colorful screen on the Realme 8 or the more fluid feeling Poco X3 NFC. The screen is alright, but it doesn't get as bright as I would like it to, and the auto brightness feature for some reason is a tad bit aggressive. But the screen overall is okay, and the 90Hz refresh rate does make it feel snappier than it really is, which is always a plus in my book. Alright, so moving to the camera, the 48 megapixel main sensor with f1.7 aperture is able to pick up some great shots in daylight, however suffers greatly during nighttime use. The image quality is acceptable for what you're paying for, and the addition of the 8 megapixel ultra-wide with f2.2 aperture is handy, but definitely sees a drop in dynamic range and image quality when compared to the main sensor, which really makes me doubt the usefulness of the 8 megapixel ultra-wide. Now going back to night photos, they're actually not that great, to be honest, and the conclusion here is that this phone isn't a camera-oriented phone at all, really. Alright, so in terms of innovation, well, there really isn't much here. Other than the cool psychedelic style back panel and the generous 5000 mAh battery, which can honestly last up to about 2 days on a single charge, and even 3 with light to moderate usage, I'd say that the Oppo A54 5G really isn't exactly an interesting device. In other words, it doesn't exactly have any unique quirks, if you will. The device, however, is IPX4 certified, so it's water resistant, not waterproof, so don't go dunking this in any water, but if you do get any splashes of water on it, you'll be fine. It also retains the headphone jack, which is always nice for those who are not willing to switch to Bluetooth devices just yet. And the physical fingerprint scanner is actually quite easy and effective to use on a day-to-day basis. I think that the saving grace for this phone is that it comes with a case, a pre-applied screen protector, headphones, and a 10-watt charging brick. But this phone is capable of 18-watt fast charging, so you can get up to 50% charged in about 40 minutes. This brings me to the conclusion of this video. Who do I think this phone is for? I genuinely believe that this phone will be great for parents who are on a budget and want to give their young teenagers the smartphone experience without breaking their bank. I really do feel that this would be a great first smartphone for young teenagers, as it comes with a complete package from the case to the pre-applied screen protector to the headphones and the charging brick. You get everything in the box that you need. And this works especially well if you're trying to stay away from the mainstream brands like Apple and Samsung, which can easily cost up to $1,000 as opposed to this, which costs about $200. Now, if you're not a parent and are actually looking to buy this device for yourself, well, I honestly cannot recommend it. And I would rather you go out and buy the Poco X3 NFC. Now, that device is around a similar price point, but you get better specs, a better camera, a better screen, and honestly, just an overall better experience. And that, my friends, has been it for this video. This is my cue to sign off. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.